illusion. Feel it deep with transformation. I'm moving forward, no hesitation. This is my time, I've got the solution. I'm resetting my with transformation. I'm moving forward, no goals still matter, dreams still grow. Seeds I planted will surely show. I'll rise with strength, I'll rise with grace. I found my rhythm, I found my pace. I'm resetting my resolution. We're training for life, I found my fusion. Heal the heart, transform the soul. Propel my life, I'm reaching goals. This is my moment, my evolution. I'm resetting my resolution. I see the path, I know the way. One step at a time, come what may. I've got my roadmap, got my guide. No more fear, I walk in stride. Setbacks came, but they won't define the power and the peace that's mine. Ooh. I'm resetting my resolution. We're training for life, I found my future. Feel the heart, transform the soul. I'm coming alive, I'm reaching goals. This is my moment, my evolution. I'm resetting my resolution.
So, good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday and we are going live. Okay. Today we are going to go deep and we're going to go deep and fast. I want to make sure that when you leave this training today, you will have no questions. So grab a notepad and a pen. We're going to talk about it. And if you look in the chat, I have a document there that you can download or copy and pull to your computer so that you can follow me. If you're on your cell phone, I would suggest not download it to your cell phone, but that's up to you. But it's going to be notes about what we're talking about because we're going to talk about the realness of finances. We're going to talk about financial security and saving for legacy. Because how many of us do not want to go into retirement depending on other people to pay our bills, to buy our food, to make sure that we have clothes on our back, shoes on our feet, a roof over our head? We want to make sure that we've done the things that needed to be done ahead of time so that we are ready and prepared for whatever comes, whatever happens. We have taken care of those things, right? So with that being said, I want to dive straight in. I know that I'm also going live on YouTube. So please, by all means, follow me. Make sure that you're hearing me clearly and that there are no questions or comments or concerns or whatever. And if you have a question, jot it down so you won't forget it and then ask me at the end. I promise you, I tried to make this as sound of a teaching and simple of a teaching as possible so that you understand. And when we leave here today, we're all going to be equipped and have tools in our tool belt that's going to better prepare us for what's to come. Okay, so let's talk about it. The resetting my resolutions or your resolutions came about because every January, right? So many millions of people sit there and say, I resolve to do this. But by March, they've gone off track. They have lost their salt and their fervor about it, right? Almost like leftovers from last week, right? It just don't move you to even put it in your mouth no more, right? Okay, so here's the good news. Here at Training for Life, we don't wait until the next year to reset. We don't. We hit the button now. So we're resetting our finances now because financial freedom is not about perfection. It's about persistence. So scripture is Habakkuk 2:2. And it says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. So now, are your plans written out? What you want to happen, what you desire to happen, what you need to happen, is it written out? If it's not written, it's not real. That's social work 101. If it's not written, it's not real. It didn't happen. Okay? So resetting your resolutions is not about shame. It's not. We love everyone and we want the best for each and every one of us. But it's about getting a clear vision and running with it. So let's get us a clear vision. So today our affirmation is this. I want you to repeat after me. I am the CEO of my money. I tell it where to go, and it does not boss me around. Take a deep breath on that one. You feel it? We're about to go in. Are you ready? Let's go. So I call this the UWE method. U for understanding, W for wealth, and E for execution. UWE equals understanding, wealth, and execution. Simple enough, right? So understanding, Proverbs 27:23 says, be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. The translation, know your money. Stop acting like you don't see the overdraft fees. Wealth. Wealth is more than money. It's assets, it's influence, and it's wisdom. So the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22. And then execution. James 2:17 says this, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. So you can't pray over your finances and never take action. So you can't rebuke debt in prayer. And guess what? If you swipe your card like it's a sword, you got to put the card down and pick up a budget. But always remember that sword is two-edged. It's going to cut on both sides. So while I remember being a little girl watching the Flintstones, right? Charge it. Betty and Wilma, right? Charge it. And they were excited about that thing, right? But they forgot all about the other side to that. How many of us know about that? They forgot about the other side to that. So now what I want you to remember is it's a two-edged sword. It cuts coming and it cuts going. Are you ready for the cutting? Are you open to the cutting? Right? Okay. So now, what's one money habit that you yourself need to reset right now? Write it down. Get your pen, notepad, write it down. What's that one money habit that you need to reset right now? So now let's talk about the retirement vehicles. I literally call this pick your ride to the future. Okay. So scripture that supports this says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and establish the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? Luke 14:28. So retirement is like a road trip. You need to make sure you have the right vehicle to get there. And you don't show up in a tricycle, right? When you could have been in a Lexus. You don't show up on a bike when you're talking about going several hundreds of miles and you have a time limit, right? Because if you're like me, I have a time limit on how much I can get done in these vehicles before I'm going to need to start pulling some stuff out of the vehicle and getting some of that resources out of it, right? So now let's talk about it. Traditional. If you're working a job and your company offers your retirement plan, it's usually a 401k or a 403b. So this is where the employer sponsors the retirement plan. So it's for school employees, nonprofits, hospitals, and often the 401(k)s, and often those use the 401(k)s. But it's tax deferred. So you don't pay taxes now, but you do when you withdraw the money later. And taxes could be higher later, right? So employers match it, which equals free money. Never leave it on the table. If your employer's matching your money, you want to put top dollar in. So it's ideal for people with steady employment who want their retirement savings to grow without too much decision making. Does that make sense? Okay, so if your boss is willing to add money to your pot, don't you be too proud to take it. That's not begging, that's building. That's wisdom, right? And wisdom is what? The practical application of knowledge, right? We're growing here. Okay, so next one is a Roth IRA. The contributions are taxed now. So you pay your taxes when you put it in. But that withdrawals in the retirement are tax free. Keyword, withdrawals in retirement. If you try to take money out of a Roth IRA before your retirement time, you will still have to pay some more taxes on it. I know it's unfair, but guess what? That's called life. So it's best for those who are in their 20s and 30s, right? Their money gets decades to grow tax free. Great hedge against future tax increases. So you've already paid Uncle Sam his part. So he can't come back asking for more when it's time for you to start withdrawing from it. That's the good thing about that, right? So you plan it now and you watch it multiply while you sleep. The earlier you sow, the sweeter the harvest. That's what a Roth IRA is. So Galatians 6:9 says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. That's how you look at a Roth IRA. Okay. Now, traditional IRA. It's perfect if you don't have access to a workplace plan. So tax deferred contributions, these are for those entrepreneurs, right? Annual contribution limits. You can only put a certain amount in there. You have to check with your state, your government, state, federal government, to make sure that your deposits and that what you're putting in does not exceed their limits. Okay, it gives you control over your investments, your mutual funds, your ETFs, etc. Right? Okay, but also it requires discipline. So this is like packing your own lunch for the journey, right? You may not have a cafeteria employer plan, right? But you'll still enjoy a good meal, and it'll probably be healthier because you prepared it, right? Now let's talk about one of my favorite vehicles, the Index Universal Life, IULs. Okay, it is a life insurance policy plus retirement growth. Follow me? So the cash value grows safely because it's linked to the stock market index, but it's protected from loss. So say the stock market goes up by 10 points. You're like, yes, your money just grew by 10. But guess what? Say the next day it drops by 7. Your money says, hey, I'm going to get off right here at this 10 points. When it goes down that 7, your money stays right there. Now, when that bus decides, or that rocket ship, as I call it, decides it wants to go back up and it comes back past your way, it'll slow down and say, hey, you coming? And your money will say yes and jump back on and keep going up. I love IULs. So you can borrow against it tax-free for retirement income or even emergencies. Like, say, if you get a major injury, if you are put into what do you call it? The home. Come on, brain work. Menopause brain. I don't like it. But what is it? Place the rehab centers, right? For you to heal while you're going through whatever you're going through, right? You can pull money out of it for that as well. And guess what? The benefits and beauty of it is when you pull money out of an IUL, it doesn't even show that you pulled money out. The money keeps growing like you never touched it. So, legacy benefits. When you pass, your family gets a tax-free inheritance. So, between life insurance policies and IULs, which it's both, when you do something beautiful like set up a trust and put all of your family members, immediate family members, in the trust as board members, when someone passes or transitions, right, that trust continues to grow. That's how the Rockefellers accumulated their wealth. And for over hundreds, over a couple of, well, over a century and a half, they still are accumulating wealth. Unlike the Vanderbilts, who had their first generations to die in poverty. Okay, so now this is like riding first class. It's protection now, it's wealth later, and it's blessings for your children. See how it's first class? Serving you champagne on the platter, right? Okay. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. You with me? Right. So the next one is annuities. Annuities are a guaranteed lifetime income. Best for people in their 50s and 60s who want security and stability. How many of us say security and stability, right? Two S's I love, right? Okay, so it's no flash, no surprises. It's steady retirement paychecks that you cannot ever outlive. Steady. Then the word it brings us warmness right here in your chest. Steady, just steady, stability, right? So this is the church bus. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but it gets everybody home safe. Everybody. Isaiah 32:18 says, many people will live in peaceful dwelling places, in secure homes, and undisturbed places of rest. So this is what I'm going to say about the vehicles. Each vehicle has a season. Be wise enough to pick the ride that matches your age, your risk level, and your goals. Don't wait till you're 65 and act like you're trying to race in a sports car, or be 25 dragging along in a bus. Pray, plan, and prepare for your journey, because life is a journey. So now let's go to the next part. I want us to keep moving. If you have any questions, you can type them in the comment section, or you can just wait and we'll talk about it at the end. So now let's talk about the ages, right? Each season has a strategy. And so Ecclesiastes 3:1 tells us, to everything there's a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. So money management is like farming. It's like farming. I would say it's like framing, but I won't say farming. I'll say farming because I like the analogy of our life is a garden, right? So you don't plant corn and expect it to show up as popcorn the same day, right? Each stage has its grind, its grace, and its growth. You have to know the difference. So I'm going to break this down for you to the best of my abilities. I pray that you're taking notes. So 20s and 30s, you're planting seeds. That's the best time to start investing in Roth IRAs, 401ks that employers match, right? And beginner investment accounts. Time is your superpower. Compound interest is like fertilizer on your money. Focus on building savings, 3 to 6 months of expenses in your savings, right? Paying off debt, especially high interest credit cards, and securing health plus life insurance early while it's cheap. That's the beautiful thing about youth, right? It's cheap. Okay. You build financial habits now, like savings, consistently saving. budgeting, and investing automatically, that you don't even have to think about it or touch it. Because if you don't see it, guess what? You're not going to be tempted to touch it, right? So skip Starbucks every day and buy the stock instead. Don't just drink of the latte, own the latte. So Proverbs 6, verse 6 through 8 says, go to the ant, you sluggard. Suggest its ways and be wise. I'm sorry, consider its ways and be wise. It stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Are you like the ant who plans year round, making sure that its storehouses are filled? Are you like Joseph, dependable, knowing that the 7 years of plenty are still going to precede the 7 years of famine? So in the 7 years of plenty, you are stocking up, you're saving, you're rationing. Okay. In your 40s and 50s, think about this as growing trees. Okay. This is your peak earning season. Maximize retirement contributions, and 401ks catch up, right? IRAs catch up, right? Pay off remaining debts aggressively, like cars, student loans, even mortgages. Protect your income with proper insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care, short-term care, right? Begin legacy planning. Write out your wills. Get it notarized. File a copy in probate court. Creative trust for your family. And teaching your children money skills. Diversify your retirement vehicles. Consider IULs, annuities, and rental properties for passive income. This is when you check your wallet and your waistline. Trim them both. Cut the unnecessary weight so that you can move freely into the next season. How many of us cutting weight? How many of us, okay? How many of us needing to cut more weight? Proverbs 21 and 5 says this: the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Think about it. Now let's go to the next season of our life, our 60s. This is your harvest season. So this is where you shift from aggressive growth to income plus, how should we say it? Preservation. Yeah, income plus preservation. So you protect what you've planted, right? You transition from guaranteed income streams to Social Security, annuities, pensions, and drawing from investments wisely. That's when those annuities come in, right? This is where you finalize legacy documents like your wills, your trust, your power of attorney, your health care directives. How many of us don't want to be kept alive on machines? That's not living, right? Give intentionally. Generosity becomes part of your legacy. So sow into family, into ministry, into community. Pass on the wisdom that you have acquired, not just the wealth. Teach the next generation what you wish you'd known earlier. How many of us are doing that? I promise you, my children are sick and tired of hearing about wills and trusts. But guess what? I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep screaming about it. I'm going to keep waving my hands and trying to get their attention until they get it done completely and in its entirety. Right? So this is the time to pass the baton, right? Not the bills. Don't let your kids inherit your debt. Let them inherit your discipline and your divine wisdom. Psalms 92:14 says, they will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. So here's my summation of this. Don't compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Every financial season has its strategies, right? Be fruitful in your stages, and God will bless the harvest in due time. As long as there is seed, time, and harvest, things will work out, right? So now let's talk about pathways to generational wealth. We talk about building it, protecting it, and passing it on. So a good scripture would be Proverbs 13, verse 22. It says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That would be the grands, the great grands. That's my goal. So wealth isn't just about money. It's about wisdom, stewardship, and even strategy. If you only leave dollars with no discipline, your kids will spend your legacy faster than you can say Amazon Prime. Follow me? So let's talk about this. The first thing we would do is life insurance. The Wealth Transfer Express. The fastest, most tax efficient way to create and pass down wealth is a life insurance policy. Properly structured policies like IULs or whole life policies provide living benefits, cash values, and even the ability to make loans against the policy. And a legacy benefit, tax-free death benefits to your loved ones, to your legacy, your lineage. This is how families who look broke pass on 6 and 7 figures to their children. Life insurance is love insurance. It says, even when I'm gone, I'm still taking care of you. I'm still watching out for you. I'm still making sure that you're okay. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. I like the version that says worse than an infidel. Come on, right? The next one is investments. This is kingdom math in action. It's tools that make your money work while you sleep. So let's talk about these tools. Stocks. Ownership is one specific company. It's ownership in one specific company like Apple or Tesla, right? And reward tied directly to that company, but it's only one company. Don't get me wrong, stock in the right company can be everything, right? Index funds. So an index fund is a mutual fund that tracks a whole market index like the S&P 500. It's broad diversification, managed passively. So it's like a basket of companies. So all of your money's not in one vehicle or one basket, just in case one basket decides to get knocked over or get robbed, right? Or to completely fail and dissipate and disappear. Make sense? Okay. And then we have ETFs. That's the exchange traded funds, like an index fund, but it's traded on the stock exchange like a stock. So you can track the indexes, the sectors, the commodities, the bonds, etc. They're unusually low cost, they're flexible, and highly liquid. So it's flexible, it's tradable, it's like a tradable basket. You can include stocks, bonds, commodities, etc., all in different baskets, right? It's a mixture, but that mixture does some beautiful things, right? I'm gonna break down bonds just a little bit more. So bonds, it's like loans that you give to a government or a company, right? They pay you interest, which is fixed income for you. And they are usually safer, but with lower returns compared to stocks and exchange traded funds. So they're like a safer debt investment with steady income coming back to you. Let me know if that was clear. You put a 1 in the chat, I can make sure that was clear for you. Okay, perfect. So compound interest. This is biblical multiplication. That's the best way to say it, biblical multiplication. Small seeds growing into large harvests over time. Mm. So you can diversify so that one bad year doesn't wipe out your whole future. Diversifying is a security blanket. It makes sure that, like I said, you have some in this basket, some in that basket, some in that basket, some in a bin over here, some in a vehicle over there. But all of those are going to places and growing and doing things. But again, one bad company, one bad investment, one bad year, one bad season does not have to devastate your or sidetrack your future plans, right? So if your money isn't working, you'll always be that one breaking point away from going back to the starting point. You'll always feel like you're breaking your back trying to, make the ends meet, make them be able to look around the corner and see each other. So learning how to use these vehicles will help you to hire your dollars as employees. So your money will get up and work just as hard as you and bring you back returns, even when you're sleeping. How many of us like that? Right? So Matthew 25:16 says, the man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more. That's what you're doing. Do you see how it will be beneficial? You see how it helps and works? So let's talk about legacy that produces. So a business is one of the strongest vehicles for generational wealth. Unlike a job, you can pass down ownership, you can pass down systems and even income to your family. Teach your children entrepreneurship, even if it's something small. They can have a job, but teach them to have a side hustle. Eliminate staying today can become a franchise tomorrow, right? Don't just leave your kids an inheritance, leave them an enterprise. Deuteronomy 28:12 says, you will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none. I want that to be my legacy in everything I do. So, real estate, the gift that keeps giving. That's what they call real estate. So, land and property have generational value. Homes, real rental properties, and commercial building, they build equity and a cash flow. Equity is that word that we love, right? Equity, because you can pull money from your equity, even while you're still in it. Even while you're still living in the house, you can pull the equity out of the house. Even while you're still renting out the building, you can pull the equity that the building has acquired, right? Okay. Real estate also hedges against inflation. They're not making more land. Matter of fact, the sea levels are rising. Some of the land masses are going to be diminishing. Grandma's house isn't just family history, it's family equity. Don't sell Big Mama's house and her land for pennies. Leverage it for your family's legacy. I don't care if that means you all have to go in there for a whole year every weekend, and y'all repair some stuff, lay down new flooring, soundproof the walls so you can't hear what everybody talking about in the next room, um, update some things, pull down the wallpaper, put up a nice solid and neutral paint structure, coloring, reinforce the foundation, do whatever you need to do, but keep the house and the family. Give it to the oldest grandchild that's responsible, that has been following the plan of the family and is learning, right? And then have them to take, like they're paying rent, and every month put some money into an account, right? Like they're paying rent. And that money will be for the taxes and the insurance on the house, but also some of it will be for savings, because you're teaching them, but you also want to be able to reward them, right? Come on. We have plans and we can do this. We can make sure that we leave an inheritance for our children's children. Isaiah 65, verse 21 and 22 says, they will build houses and dwell in them. They will plant vineyards and eat their fruit. My chosen ones will long enjoy the work of their hands. How many of us want that to be our story, right? Right. Financial literacy. This is the truth of inheritance. Wealth without wisdom equals waste. How could the Vanderbilts be one of the richest families in one era, and then they have generations to die in poverty 2, 3 generations later? Because they did not teach financial literacy, discipline to their generations. Teach your children budgeting, savings, investing, generosity. The law of reciprocity is real. It still stands today. Share your financial journey, the wins and the losses, the mistakes, right? So they can stand on your shoulders and start and not have to start from scratch. Let my plateau be their floor so they can only go upward and onward. Don't just leave money, leave manuals. Otherwise, your kids will blow your life savings on sneakers and vacations and foolishness. And then your grandchildren won't know what security feels like and stability. Hosea 4 and 6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So for this section, I'm just going to say this. Generational wealth isn't just what you leave for your children. It's what you leave in your children. Money fades, but wisdom multiplies. We're moving right along. I'm trying to make sure I stay in time, right? Okay, so now, execution and accountability. Do it now. So the scripture for this is Proverbs 21 and 5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. It's not enough to dream, plan, and pray about wealth. Execution is the bridge between vision and reality. Diligence is not just hard work, it's consistency, intentional steps that compound into transformation, right? God honors order, and he honors discipline, and he honors stewardship. And when we delay, or one way I normally say it, delayed obedience is still disobedience. Delayed obedience will lead to delayed blessings. So think of execution as planting seeds. If you never put it in the ground, it doesn't matter how much rain falls, how much sun shines, nothing will grow. Nothing. Accountability is the sunshine that ensures your seed does not just get buried, but becomes a sprout. Remember, I always tell you the difference between someone being buried and someone being planted are the intentions of the one doing the digging. Dreams without discipline are just decorations in your mind. Don't just hear this and shout, but hear this and shift. Shift your mindset, shift your thinking, shift your plans. So now let's talk about it. I always like to do things in 30 days because let's be honest, it takes about 90 days for something to truly become a habit. People lie and tell you it takes 30, it takes 21. No, for it to become second nature, like when you drive to work and you've been working at this place for years and years and years, you have a set way that you go. There are days that you get to work and you don't even remember the drive there, right? But you arrive safely, no police were chasing you. You didn't hit anybody and no one hit you, right? It was a habit. It was set you on autopilot. That takes you at least 90 days of doing something consistently. Okay? So now, here's a 30-day reset plan. Because what good is knowledge if we don't turn it into action? It's just knowledge. It doesn't even develop into wisdom. Okay, so week 1, I want you to track every single dollar that you spend. I don't care if you bought a pack of gum, track it. Write down every expense, even that $2 candy bar, right? Awareness is power. Know well the condition of your flock and give attention to your herds, Proverbs 27:23. So you cannot manage what you don't measure. You cannot expect what you don't inspect. So write down every expense. Awareness births accountability. You can't manage what you refuse to measure. So don't say you're broke if you can't prove it on paper, if you can't show it in a ledger, right? Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain on tablets so that he may run who reads it. That's week 1. Everything. Don't change anything right now in week 1. Just simply take note. In week 2, cut one expense. Pick one habit or subscription that doesn't serve you, or redirect that money into savings and investing, right? And I want to say that doesn't serve you in this season, right? So say right now you may turn your TV on once a month, but you're paying cable. You can keep Comcast internet or your internet and turn off the cable. You can get you a Roku stick or a Fire Stick. And so when you decide to turn the TV on, you have something that you can watch. And you don't have to subscribe because they have free channels on those. They have movie channels and all on those platforms that you don't even have to pay for. So the one time a week that you turn the TV on, it can be entertaining. But for that 1 week, just taking that out and take what you have normally spent for that month on your internet and put it into a stock or put it into a savings vehicle, investment vehicle. I've told you what the vehicles are. Do that. See how that works for you. Okay? Sacrificing now, it builds freedom later. So cutting that subscription, don't do that impulse buy, or cut out fast food for 1 week. It can rebuild or redirect hundreds into wealth building vehicles. Little by little, one saves money. Proverbs 13:11. Little by little. So cutting out Starbucks for 1 month can build you Starbucks stock for a lifetime. Right? Okay, so that's week 2. Just cut out one thing. Don't try to overdo it and shock your system, because then that makes it even harder to maintain it. Just one thing. Week 3, okay? Review or open a retirement investment account. So review your account or open an account. So if you already have one, check it. If you don't have one, open one. Take the step now. Don't wait. Make sure your money is multiplying. God calls us to be fruitful. That applies to finances as well, right? Let compound interest do kingdom math on your behalf, not you trying to manipulate some numbers later on to see how you can work it out. Remember what you cut out? That's that week 2, you were investigating the vehicles. You were figuring out, and then you chose one. So now you're investing in the vehicle, right? Perfect. On top of this, you don't have to start big. You just have to start. That's the important part. Just start. James 2:17 tells us faith by itself, or faith without works, is dead. Get to work on making sure that you have taken the steps, you have employed the vehicles and your finances to build for you, for your future, right? Now we're on week 4. Remember, it's 30 days, week 4. Have a family legacy talk. Call a family meeting. Family meeting. All parties are required to be present. Do it on Zoom if everybody lives in different states. Sit down with your spouse, your children, and even your parents, if they're alive, and discuss wills, insurance, savings, and legacy plans. Talk about what you do and don't want for health directives, and have someone taking notes so that all of this can be put in writing for each person in attendance. This is how you transfer not only wealth, but wisdom. And because you're doing it with your children, you're starting them early, so now that they can maintain it and they'll be able to build more, right? Normalize talking about money and inheritance with your family. Normalize it. Make it like a general conversation. Make it like you're talking about what's for dinner tonight. Generational wealth starts with generational conversations. Psalm 78:4. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power, and the wonders he has done. Make it a conversation and make the conversation happen regularly. Money talks, right? The question is this: what is your money saying about you? Is it screaming Amazon and Uber Eats? Or is it whispering discipline, growth, and legacy? Does it testify that you are a builder? Or does it reveal that you are a borrower? So I want us to say this affirmation. We're going to take a deep breath in our nose, holding it at the top, breathing out your mouth. Repeat after me. I am breaking cycles. I am building wealth. My children's children will rise up and call me blessed. Proverbs 31:28 says, her children rise up and call her blessed. Let that be your legacy that you pass on to your family, to your generations, because they deserve not just to have the finances that you're going to leave, but they deserve to have the wisdom to know how to manage them, how to make it grow, how to put it in vehicles that will speed it up, that will cause them to be able to leave an inheritance for their children's children, and so on and so on. I want to be able to leave an inheritance that will put the Rockefellers to shame, because ours is going to be to edify and build up people, not just our family. So now that's my part. That's my teaching. And I hope you all took notes. I did put the document in the chat. I will upload it to the chat for the YouTube video so that you can have it there as well. But I want you to understand that knowing how to manage your finances is paramount. And there are so many of us that are currently in situations financially that we are not sure if we can make it should we not be able to go to work for a month. If the grocery store is closed, if the electricity goes out, we have nothing stored up. Where does this leave you? What does this say about you? And are you now understanding how it's important that you start making plans to rectify and correct this? This was a Training for Life teaching. I pray that it has blessed you and encouraged you. And now I'm going to stop the recording so that those in attendance, we can have an open conversation about it.